Hello there and welcome from me, Rukidi Edward Kijanangoma, to News Tonight here on UBC TV. Tonight here on UBC TV this Monday, the 27th day of April 2026. But first, let's have a look at what's making headlines at this hour. In our stories tonight, more stakeholders disregard the Protection of Sovereignty Bill 20. Stakeholders disregard the Protection of Sovereignty Bill 2026. Electoral Commission launches Kikuube District LC5 by-election roadmap. Elections for June 10th. And Uganda takes a stand against sexual and gender-based violence at the workplace. Hello there and welcome once again. We are coming to you live online and on air from Broadcasting House here on Nile Avenue. Now, most stakeholders, including political parties, have disregarded the Protection of Sovereignty Bill 2026, citing inconsistency with the Constitution of Uganda. The People's Front for Freedom claims the intended laws serve selfish interests. PFF Executive Chairperson Arias Lukwago warns against the possible introduction of a bad law. Other players, including the Uganda Medical Association and women leaders, also oppose the legislation. Daniel Mugoya gives us more.
The scrutiny of the Protection of Sovereignty Bill 2026 has entered its second week as the Parliamentary Joint Committee on Defence and Internal Affairs, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs engages different stakeholders.
Our procedure is, after listening to stakeholders' views, we retreat as a committee to consider each and every view that has been mentioned by a stakeholder.
Among other stakeholders, the National Unity Platform, People's Front for Freedom and women activists have presented their views.
And so you wonder why the government itself thinks that it should be getting foreign funding and yet seeks to block or regulate heavily NGOs, political parties and other organizations from being able to do the same.
Renowned activist Miriam Matembe, also a former legislator and minister, described the bill as patronage and enslavement which needs urgent healing.
Because if you were to amend it, maybe you will just erase it. And so we are praying for you. That the Lord may visit you specially to redeem Ugandans from this patronage and enslavement of Ugandans to become helpless.
Many say government is introducing a pressing law in the guise of cementing the protection of Uganda's sovereignty, which is already enshrined in Article 1 of the 1995 Constitution.
For instance, the prevention of HIV and AIDS. Look at the enormity and whose message has sunk deep and has caused the recession of HIV incidences. Wouldn't you therefore take the Kabaka of Uganda, criminalize him for doing this work, which is supposed to be done by the state? No.
And clauses betray it as a constitutional amendment bill. And when it comes to amendment of the Constitution, we have decisions here. It goes back, it takes us to Article 262B, which requires that any bill for an act of parliament expressly or impliedly affecting sovereignty of the people and the supremacy of the Constitution must be approved by the people through a referendum.
Among the controversial proposals include giving powers to the minister to render certain Ugandans foreigners, which has been highly contested.
We shall all be victims of these particular legislations, including the members of parliament if they legislate it in the current form.
People's Front for Freedom Political Party Executive Chairman Arias Lukwago says framers of the bill have intentions of serving the interests of specific politicians. Lukwago claims Uganda's sovereignty has faced more harm locally than by foreign interests.
We have not seen any clause here that speaks about domestic threats, to the sovereignty of the people of Uganda. And they are so many, they are widespread.
The critics maintain a stand that the existing legal framework accommodates the safeguards of Uganda's sovereignty. They say that the intended legislation will dilute the regulations.
The said clauses grant the minister wide discretion to register, deregister, refuse, suspend, or revoke the operational certificates of anyone deemed to be an agent of a foreigner, with no meaningful procedural safeguards to restrain the existence of that power, the exercise of that power. This exposes opposition politicians, NGOs, investigative journalists, researchers, whistleblowers, and other real and perceived opponents of the minister and his appointing authority to political persecution.
Meanwhile, city lawyer Yusuf Nsibambi, who also joined the NRM party recently, asked the committee to consider the bill. Sibambi's body language described how the bill is long overdue. This provoked members of parliament to question whether Sibambi participated in its framing. The bill under Clause 2 accommodates various activities that could render Ugandans criminal and foreign in nature. It further introduces sections where the Minister for Internal Affairs has the powers to register and regulate foreign funding beyond 400 million shillings. In the meantime, there are various concerns that this bill will cripple a section of politicians and NGOs which have been receiving foreign support with loopholes in regulations.
If you look at the way the clauses are structured, you must disclose, among other things, the names and addresses of all the foreign clients, the character of their business, copies of every written agreement, including by necessary implication the retainer letter with this client, the terms of every oral agreement, and nature of method of performance of every such contract. That is 15.2.
Daniel Mugoya, Nantongo Rebecca, UBC News. UBC News.
The Electoral Commission Chairperson Justice Simon Byabakama has called for a peaceful exercise in the Kikuube district 10th June by-election. He was launching the roadmap for the Kikuube district LC5 by-election at Kikuube district headquarters. The LC5 by-election will be organized to replace Kikuube district chairperson late Peter Vanura, who died in the April 4th accident.
To eradicate ballot stuffing, to eradicate all these other evils that have always followed our elections in the past.